to another edition of the Lockton Marine podcast. Today, I am happy to be joined by Patrizia Kern, Chair of the Poseidon Principles for Marine Insurance, who is here to talk about, well, you guessed it, the Poseidon Principles for Marine Insurance, or PPMI for short. We're going to talk about what they are, what it means to be a signatory or an affiliate, and how the principles are keeping up with shipping's decarbonisation ambitions. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Anders, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk about the Poseidon Principle for Marine Insurance.
Our pleasure. The PPMI have become well known for many of us in marine insurance, but some of our listeners may not be equally familiar. From that perspective, Patrizia, what exactly are the Poseidon Principles for Marine Insurance?
The Poseidon Principle for Marine Insurance offer a framework for insurers to assess and disclose the climate alignment of their hull and machinery portfolio. And they are consistent with the policies and ambition of the IMO. The aim is to be voluntary, practical to implement, verifiable, fact-based, and are intended to evolve over time following a regular review process. With the PPMI, we want to promote the decarbonization of international shipping by enhancing transparency and collaboration between industry leaders. It is important to say that the Poseidon Principle for Marine Insurance are applicable to marine insurers with hull and machinery coverage, these are the signatories, along with other institutions in the marine insurance ecosystem, like brokers, like yourself, and other collective group. We have captive, we have insurance association, and these are the affiliate members. So we have the signatories, the insurance company with hull and machinery cover, and the affiliate member, because we recognize that in the marine insurance ecosystem, there are important players that need to be part and drive it too.
So for full disclosure, Lockton Marine is an affiliate member of the Poseidon Principles. Some of our listeners may also be familiar with the Poseidon Principles for financial institutions. How is PPMI different from those principles?
This is a very important question. PPMI are aligned with the Poseidon Principle for financial institutions and also with the Sea Cargo Charter. All three initiatives are under the head of the Global Maritime Forum. The Poseidon Principle for Marine Insurance are part of a broader community of industry players along the maritime value chain that work together to increase transparency on emissions associated with their shipping portfolio.
The shipping as a whole is subject to many regulatory pressures and ambitions. I think the most prominent from a decarbonisation perspective is the fact that IMO has set out a net zero trajectory for 2050. How does PPMI fit into that picture? How does PPMI align with those ambitions?
The Poseidon Principle are focused at the moment on promoting the decarbonization of maritime transport by aligning financing and insurance practice with the climate objective of the IMO. This is really important. We are fully aligned to the IMO objective. The principle encourages responsible decisions that support the transition to a low carbon future, taking into account factors such as ship design, energy efficiency, and carbon intensity. They provide a framework for measuring and reporting emissions. While the Poseidon Principle, and I think this is very important to say, while the Poseidon Principle support the objective of the IMO strategy by incentivizing responsible financing and insurance for low carbon maritime transportation, it is the IMO strategy that set the overall direction and goal for the decarbonization of the industry. We are not mandating to our client, the shipping company, what they have to do. We are only a practical mechanism to support the implementation of the IMO strategy. We are trying to leverage the influence and decision-making power of financial and insurance sectors. This cooperation can ultimately lead to a more sustainable shipping industry and contribute to global climate goals.
Do you think that we're seeing carbon taxation in the EU as a 1/1/25 fuel? EU maritime is going to put pressures on the fuel efficiency for vessels, and obviously the IMO will need to enforce certain regulations in order to meet their goals. All of these things mean that decarbonisation is something that's very real. The pressure on ship owners is one that is very real. It's costing them money. It's forcing them to make technological advancements and investments. So how does that allow PPMI to stay relevant? Because PPMI, as you've set it out, is a reporting regime. It's an awareness regime. How does that stay relevant in the regulatory landscape where there is both taxation and stronger regulatory pressures?
Thank you, Anders. This is a very important question. The Poseidon Principles are a global framework, and as such, we can align only to IMO. We have now been existing for 3 years, and we have constantly updated the principle to reflect the IMO decision to ensure that we remain applicable and supportive of the industry compliance. The most recent decision of IMO have been automatically taken up within the PPMI. The Poseidon Principle can promote best practice in sustainability within the insurance sector and promote the ambition of the regulator. As you said something extremely correct, the shipping company are going to carry the burden of the decarbonization. They are going to pay for this transition. And we need to see how we can create for them any type of incentive and how we can especially contribute to the de-risking of this transition. We, as Poseidon Principle, we are also intending to support other initiatives that are supporting sustainable insurance in shipping across the industry, such as the carbon disclosure process, the task force on climate-related financial disclosures, the science-based target, the UNP principle for sustainable insurance. We are all connected with them. They are part of what we do, but we follow the IMO trajectory, and we will continue to update according to the decision of the IMO.
One of the criticisms that we as an affiliate hear against the PPMI is that it's just another entity that a ship owner has to report to. So in addition to the extensive reporting they have to do to the EU and IMO, this is just another layer on top. Are there plans to align reporting processes to make PPMI reporting easier for the ship owners?
We are fully aware of what is now even a new name. It's called reporting fatigue. And apparently there is a lot of reporting fatigue among ship owners in relation to IMO, EU, and other regulators. We need also to remember that these are global organizations. And so they have different reporting duty in different countries. And this is a growing concern. From the very beginning, PPMI didn't want to contribute to this. This was our ambition. This is why we decided also to use the IMO DCS data that ship owners have already available anyway. It is anyway work that the ship owner need to do to share the data with us. So as from this year, to avoid to put additional burden with another request for reporting on our ship owner client, we have agreed that from June 2024, signatories have the possibility to either correct the data directly from the client through an IMO RO or use a third-party data provider to provide estimation on their portfolio emission. This means that we have the IMO number of our shipping client, and we will be automatically be able to get this estimation from the data provider instead of asking them. So as from June 2024, there will be no additional data request from us to our shipping client.
That sounds like a very welcome development and one that goes a long way in future-proofing the principles, I would imagine. So on that note, if you're able to share something about the future ambitions of PPMI, and let's try and break that up into different components. So in terms of evolving the principles to keep up with the measures taken by the shipping industry to decarbonize, what are the future ambitions of PPMI?
Our objective is to create a common global baseline that are consistent with and supportive of society goals to better enable marine insurers to align their portfolio with responsible environmental impact. For the time being, climate alignment is the only environmental factor that is considered. But in the future, signatory may and will expand that scope. Shipping and logistics, we know, is an industry with enough sustainability challenges, from ship scrapping to bad fishing practice to what we have seen happening to our crews during COVID. So the question is not if we are going to extend the scope of the Poseidon Principle, but how we are going to prioritize.
So that's a very interesting point. I think there is a tendency when we as an industry or as insurers talk about sustainability, we have a tendency to only focus on decarbonization. But there's a lot of other things that go into ESG, and you've mentioned some of them there. So it's going to be interesting to follow that development.
I think this is a very important point. Climate is very clearly relevant. We have a lot of pressure from regulation, and climate, you can translate it in number. There are other, like the one that I have mentioned, relating more to the S part of the ESG, where eventually it's more difficult to get data. But the Global Maritime Forum has got at the moment very much focus on S. And there are very prominent activities that are directed exactly to this. We want to make this industry attractive for the best talent to join it.
So in terms of your future ambitions to grow the membership, is that anything you could shed some light on for us, please?
Oh yes, we are putting so much effort on it. So far, the main difficulty has been the additional workload related with the data collection. This is why we have decided to give the ability to signatory to use a third-party data provider. This will reduce the workload to only a few hours. And this is even for the company with the very large portfolio. And we trust that this will encourage more companies to join. I have to say that at the moment, I am quite positive because we have very good feedback and interest from many potential signatories, and eventually this podcast may also help.
Well, exactly, and so from that perspective, this is your chance to advertise a little bit. So, and I'm going to give you the chance to speak a little bit about the benefits of becoming a signatory or an affiliate.
I think this is really important because I think that maybe at the beginning it was so obvious for us that it was the right thing to do, that we missed a little bit on explaining what are the advantages. It's not only something that is nice to do, but to be a member of the Poseidon Principle, it's about a commitment to transparency and decarbonization. The PPMI was developed in recognition of the industry role in promoting responsible environmental stewardship through the maritime value chain. Signatories are recognized for contributing to an initiative that is groundbreaking in the sphere of shipping and insurance. The Poseidon Principle for marine insurance are not only a tool for ESG purpose, but the mission is beneficial to the entire shipping industry. And you said it really nice, Anders. The cost of this decarbonization will be carried by the shipping company. If we do not show we are relevant in this, we will prove that insurance is really not important, and this is the last thing that we want that we want to do. Through the Poseidon Principle, there is a very robust and recognized methodology on reporting emission, and this creates a network for sharing knowledge with organizations that really face similar challenges. It is a lot about understanding what is happening in the industry, and in the same way, insurance customers, they face increased requirement toward disclosure of their actual and potential impact of climate-related risk and opportunities. Insurance must, and we have also our duty to report to our regulator. The point that, in my opinion, I will never stop to underline is the de-risking of the transition. This learning can inform the decision maker and help to anticipate and mitigate environmental related risk associated with the shipping portfolio. The Poseidon Principle are not about exiting the client that are not doing the right thing. It's exactly the contrary. It's about creating incentive for stakeholders to play a role in decarbonization efforts and de-risking of the transition.
This is a very important point that I think we don't talk enough about. A risk selection is not the way to go if insurance is going to play a role in decarbonization, because you can only really influence it from the inside. So it's about finding solutions and incentives for the clients that we do have to drive towards net zero. If we create like a shadow market, the way it has happened in sanctions, we lose control, and we also lose the ability to influence that part of the fleet.
I think it's extremely important that we get ready, and we can get ready only when we understand. These ships that will use alternative fuel will have a completely different risk profile than what we know today. We need to make sure that we get ready to offer a solution to our shipping client when they will put these ships on water. And the Poseidon Principle offers this network that allow you to understand what is coming. And for me, I have to say, it's also an amazing learning opportunity that as a marine underwriter, I would have never had otherwise.
Could I ask you, the level of engagement that you see from your signatories and affiliates, how do you feel that's coming along? Do you want to see more engagement, more ambition from the insurance community and from your membership?
From our membership, we have an amazing engagement. There is so much work that is shared among us. We have a technical committee, we have an onboarding committee, and everybody is doing it because we think it's the right thing to do. And it's far beyond our professional duty. And from the insurance industry, I would like to see more joining. because it's something so obvious. As the ex-CEO of Swiss Re used to say, if you see that a wave is coming, it's better you get ready to ride it and not to go under. And this is really about this. It's not because we may eventually have opinion about decarbonization, about net zero, that we are going to change it. And as such, it's really important that we become part of this community where we can share knowledge, we can do something concrete, and we can fulfill our reporting duty, because we have reporting duties too. And the Poseidon Principle is giving you a framework with data that are approved by IMO and that you can use with your regulator.
As an extension of that previous question, the engagement with the ship owning community, how do you feel that is working out for PPMI? Is it something that ship owners have an awareness of, that they care about, and that they want to have a stronger involvement with?
The ship owners I am talking to, they are very interested, they are aware. A lot of the ship owner I talk to, they are part of the Global Maritime Forum. And as such, there is a positive selection already towards a group of people that is very aware of environmental issue, social issue. And maybe I can have a positive view than what the real shipping market is. For me, in all this discussion, the big question is we need to make sure that everybody is on board, because here we could run into the risk where, as you said, a big investment is needed, and the smaller player, they have a problem to stay alive, right? And this is also a concern that we need to consider. Also from the insurance perspective, it's not in our interest.
Patrizia, thank you very much for joining us. To all of you listening, thank you, and we'll see you again soon on the Lockton Marine podcast.